Just on the Most High, how about Shem Shai? Double honors to the elders and apostles of GMS who were well. Shalom to hope for the elect. Shabbat Shalom. Now, I've not been able to upload for like the last week and a bit because I got another strike. I don't even know how I get strikes. I'm not even doing anything that's too out of the ordinary. I mean, certain of them, when you look at Apostle Ramlar's videos, he goes way more in than I do. You know what I mean? So I don't even I do with kind of superficial things, things like this. So I don't even know how I got a strike for making a comparison between a two-third woman and a quote unquote example of a elect lady, and apparently that's strike worthy because it was full of hate speech. How I don't know, but hey, it is what it is. And in the meantime, I know brothers I've spoken about this dude before, but I recently, and I knew about him, but I didn't really watch his stuff. I just saw a few viral videos, but I did watch a few things, and yeah, he's got a lot of stuff right. He talks about high value man, and I believe Elder Yashawamba, which is Remnant 144, the Remnant 144, if I'm saying that correctly. He did a response on Kevin Samuels because he talks about high value man, and he was talking about ultimately the high value man or the man of the Lord, which are in a lower state right now. And he's always talking about high value man and how you need to make a certain amount of money to be considered a high value man in society. And I thought it was wrong for that, but he did actually elaborate on it and talk about being able to physically defend your woman, but he didn't really get into the intellectual aspects or the spiritual aspects of it. And when he speaks, he does. I remember he said, "I don't want to get into a moral argument," and morality is like a branch of spirituality, because without spirituality, you don't really have morals. Because if you have morals based on quote unquote logic, you're not really gonna have any morals, because this world, as long as it makes sense to this world, it classes it as morals. For example, you can think it's okay to be a homosexual because, or mo, should I say mo? I have to be careful what I say, but according to the scriptures, we know what the scriptures say about it. But morally, they're not doing anything to you. They're not harming you in the short term, even though you can get into the aspects of how it affects society and the family, the family structure, so on and so forth. But they're not actually doing anything to you. So morally speaking, from a logical perspective, this is Esau's perspective. There isn't actually anything wrong with that. But spiritually, when you look at it from a spiritually moral perspective, the Lord is not with that, for obvious reasons, because and I have to be careful what I'm saying here. The Lord considers it an abomination. At the end of the day, it's we're not supposed to lean on our own understanding, but this guy seems to lean on his own understanding, and he's very carnal because of how he deals with his things. I mean, the elders and apostles have the most amount of wisdom, knowledge, and they're out here preaching for free. They're not charging anyone. This guy, he's supposed to join his I don't even know the name of his little company, but he has a bunch of men that need to have this quote unquote red pill knowledge repeated to you daily, which is just the same thing. It doesn't really lead to freedom. It's just you're trying to make a way for yourself in Esau's kingdom, and it doesn't really make any sense, because ultimately this guy talks about money and women, and he doesn't understand the reason why black women are in the situation they're in is because of the curses. He talks, what does it say? Because he's always talking about quote unquote black women, black women being overweight, and that's one of the curses. Where is it? And this is Isaiah 3:24, because he's talking about, black women being overweight, so on and so forth. And it says here, King James Bible, Isaiah 3:24, and it shall come to pass that instead of a sweet smell, there shall be a stink, and instead of a girdle, instead of a nice frame, a rent, and instead of a well set hair, boldness. He talks about their weave, and instead of a stomacher, or this is, a nice figure, and instead of a stomacher, a girdle of sackcloth, and a burning instead of beauty. But he's always talking about how other races of women are got together. He doesn't understand that, this is because of the curses. He talks about Jake not having any money, and the scripture's talking about what's that scripture? Uh, I don't want to butcher it, so I want to get the specific. And we know the scriptures, and this guy thinks, at the end of the day, we should don't complain about white supremacy. You gotta be a man, and I understand that you can't make excuses, but at the same time, the curses of Deuteronomy are on Jake, and he doesn't understand this. He thinks because he's making money, he's doing well, and at the end of the day, you're gonna have Israelites in all different economic and tax brackets. It doesn't mean that the curses are not on you, because you don't have a woman you're the only man to be with her. You might have money, but all the other stuff is missing from your life. And the dude might have a woman who is with from 18, but then you have all these other curses on you. So the curses don't affect everybody equally and don't affect all the tribes equally, but still you can identify the Israelites from the curses. This is Haggai 1:6. Ye have sown much and bringing little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none warm. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes. So this man thinks you can go out there and be a high value man and earn six figures, but he doesn't understand that, the curses are on Jake. So yeah, he might say a few things that's right, but ultimately he's wrong. And I was watching one video where he's talking about if a woman cheats on him, he doesn't want to know. If she just cheated once and it's only once and she doesn't plan on doing it again, he doesn't want to know unless it's more than once and she's planning on doing it again. Now, do you know how off that is? And is it this is Jeremiah 3:1. They say, if a man put away his woman and she go from him and become another man, shall he return unto her again? Shall not that land be greatly polluted? But thou hast played the harlot with many lovers, yet return again to me, saith the Lord. So he's saying it's fine if your woman steps out on you, you shouldn't want to know, because it's only once and you're supposed to keep the family structure together. And the Lord's not with that. The Lord's not with adultery. Even King David put was it Uriah the Hittite to death and took his wife. He couldn't be alive and been with his wife, because that's going off. And ultimately what King David did was going off. It was evil, but at the end of the day, that's the Lord's chosen. I can't really say anything about it. I'm not the Most High, but even that was going on, and the Lord cursed him for that. But this man thinks it's okay for your man to cheat. I was watching something. Some woman said she slept with another woman, and she told her husband. And that's going way off, because that's going into, she should have been stoned for that. But apparently to this guy, if you don't say anything, you can still keep your family structure together. And this is why it says, the Lord's eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun, because the Lord sees it, even if you don't want to acknowledge it. And that's going off. If my woman cheat on me, I want to know. I'd rather be miserable in the truth than happy with a lie. And this is how Jakes of the world are. They'd rather be happy with the lie. They'd rather be comfortable in Esau's kingdom rather than going through turmoil and being hated by the world. At the end of the day, the Lord is perfectly balanced. So if you suffer on this side, you're gonna get reward on the other side. And if you get your reward here, guess what's gonna happen to you on the other side? You're gonna come back in a low disposition. But this guy doesn't understand this. And he talks about, he doesn't want to talk from a moral perspective. He doesn't argue moral perspective, because ultimately a part of him knows that this society doesn't have any morals. So you're not going to be able to argue with the men, the men of the Lord, because they're gonna confound you and make you look stupid with simplicity. This is First Corinthians 1:27. But Yahweh have chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise, and these are wise of the world. And Yahweh have chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And according to the world, he's mighty, because I've been on his live chats 1 or 2 times, or I've seen it, and I see people giving him $200, $100, $49, $99. So he's probably taking on like 400, not that much in his pocket, but he probably got way more than that. I didn't watch the whole thing. So you start a live, you get $500. For people to be able to comment on your live, they have to be part of your membership. And the minimum is $4.99. So Jake is making money off telling people basic stuff, and he's not even leading you the correct path, because he's telling you get on this world, be a high value man, make money, so on and so forth. When at the end of the day, wisdom shall be the stability of our times. Your money. No, I want to get that scripture real quick. Yeah, it's MacBook, man. And at the end of the day, if you were saying, look, I'm not even going in that deep, and I've got 2 strikes already. I guarantee you, this guy ain't got no strikes on this stuff. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, why ain't you got no strikes? Because you're doing everything that Esau wants you to do, which is making everybody think to be a high value man. You gotta be in Esau's kingdom and progress in Esau's kingdom, rather than being chastised in this truth and then getting your reward on the other side. You want to get your reward now. Well, the Lord is balanced, so if you get your reward now, guess what's going to happen to you? If you're chastised on this side, guess what's going to happen to you? The Lord is balanced. You receive bad for good and good for bad. But these people don't understand that, because they don't have any true wisdom. They're intellectuals, they're smart, they're intelligent, but they don't have any wisdom. It doesn't translate to wisdom. Proverbs 11:4, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death. So you're going to get all your money, you're going to have your little house, and, when the Lord comes, it's not going to mean anything. I was thinking about it today, all the people in the Titanic, when they was evacuating and trying to get off, the boat. Do you think they were taking their gold and jewels? The lifeboat can only carry so many kilograms or stones or pounds or whatever. So you got 10 people on board. You think you're going to get on with 2 bags of gold or silverware or whatever? Nah, you're going to have to leave that behind you, just taking yourself with you. The same way the chariots are going to be. When you go up, you're not going to be able to take the stuff that you've accumulated on this side, whatever it may be. But this man wants to have things on this side, even though he sees the society's crumbling. And what's funny is this guy will sit there and talk about we're talking about how when Rome started coming with feminist ideals, that was the beginning of the end for Rome and societies like that. And he understands that there's a similarity between here and Rome, but he still doesn't see that this place is crumbling. He's still telling people to go out and basically sell themselves to get on, and it's very easy to listen to a person like that and think, I'll go do this, I'll go do that. But at the end of the day, let me get that scripture real quick. What's it called? Yeah, give me a minute. Oh man, I think no, I can't remember that scripture, man. But it basically talks about, at the end of the day, if you and I got 15 minutes, and we all know that scripture. At the end of the day, if you know what's happening in the world, what sort of man ought ye to be. That's it. seeing then that all these things shall pass away, what what sort of man ought ye to be? So boy, it's up to Jake if Jake want to listen to Kevin Samuels. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, but honest to the elders and apostles of Jehovah should go well. Shalom up to the elect.